North Carolina. North Carolina has agreed to a 5-year contract with Bill Belichick to be the new head coach. It's still pending supposed approval, but that's just a mere formality at this point. Bill Belichick, 72, gets a 5-year contract. God bless him. He's worked in the NFL since 1975. Holy crap, that's a long time ago. And now he took the year off there after the Patriots gave him the boot. We know what happened there after the 2023 season. This will be his first college job. First college job at age 72. This has reality TV show. This has movie, the whole thing. And Belichick made sure to make it seem like this was a natural connection because his father, Steve Belichick, served as the assistant for the Tar Heels back in the 1950s, 1953 to 1955. And Belichick waxed loquacious about what it was like being around college football and smooched it, the whole thing, right? Prepared statement from Bill Belichick. Said he always wanted to coach in college, and now he says, I look forward to building the football program in Chapel Hill. So let us discuss. The question is this. What does this gig do for Bill Belichick? What does this gig do for the University of North Carolina? So I've got Singing Cowboy, Hollywood Remake, and Quasimodo. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make the dagger. Because Bill Belichick brings the dagger with him to this job. So, we'll start with Belichick. So, for Bill Belichick, my thoughts as I was cruising in from the Northwoods here, my thoughts, it keeps him busy, gets him back in the game, right? Not the game, but a game, and not the game that he wanted. He'd much rather be an NFL coach, but he took a sabbatical, and it was not his choice. He should be coaching the Atlanta Falcons right now, but Arthur Blank's a dum-dum and hired Raheem Morris, who couldn't coach his way out of a wet paper bag and is proving that on a weekly basis now in Atlanta. Bad job by Arthur Blank. If he ran Home Depot the way he ran the Falcons, Home Depot would have gone out of business years ago, but I digress. So Bill Belichick, after being rejected by the Falcons, has settled in to the life of playing grab ass with Pat McAfee and Peyton Manning and his buddy who follows him around and makes sure that he has his shoulders rubbed, Jim Gray. But those days are ending. Well, the Jim Gray shoulder rubs will continue, but the other stuff's over. And now he can say, hey, my name is Bill Belichick, and I am the singing cowboy. Like Gene Autry back in the day. Back in the saddle again. Although this is not a saddle he's ever sat on in terms of college football. But here we are. Now for North Carolina, what does Bill Belichick do for North Carolina? Well, it gives them a seat at the grown-ups table. It does. No one spends more than a split second thinking about North Carolina and college football. They don't. It just doesn't exist. It's a basketball school. It's been a basketball school. It will continue to be a basketball school. But a program that has been in a medically induced coma for 40-plus years. And now here they are. They're like, hey, wait, all of a sudden they got clout. All of a sudden, dopes like me and other blowhards and know-it-alls in the media are suddenly talking about North Carolina and football. All right, now, page 2. Where is your Benny Belief-O-meter? Your Benny Belief-O-meter on Bill Belichick succeeding with the Tar Heels. So we're going to pull out the Benny Belief-O-meter for Bill Belichick. So on the Maller Benny Belief-O-meter, 1 to 10, with 10 being guaranteed. Guaranteed. So I'm at a 7. And I believe that's high. 7 is pretty high on the Benny Belief-O-meter. And here's why. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, I'm going to couch this by saying, Bill Belichick is not winning a national championship at North Carolina. That ain't happening. However, you have to judge this. My belief in Belichick is that the mission is not to win a national championship. The cantankerous coach, late of the Patriots here, this is a Hollywood remake of the Coach Prime experience. They say, well, Bill Belichick and Deion Sanders are nothing alike. What are you talking about, you dum-dum? Let me explain. Let me make my elevator pitch why, even though they are polar opposites, right? You've got the loquacious Deion Sanders, the debonair Deion Sanders, and the grumpy Bill Belichick. But yet, the end game will be the same. Deion Sanders has gotten a lot of attention. We've talked about him more than a lot of other college football. We don't talk much college football on this show, but we talked a lot about Deion Sanders. He's 13-11 as head coach at Colorado. 2 games over 500. And I expect similar results for Bill Belichick, but yet it will be successful. Now you say, well, why will it be successful? Here's why. My belief in Belichick is that the Tar Heels will become a total clearinghouse of NFL guys, a feeder program like Belichick envisions, a stepping stone to the NFL. And much like Coach Prime has multiple first-round picks on his roster right now at Colorado, and they're not winning as much as other schools. Bill Belichick at North Carolina he's already starting to hire his old buddies. I know the chatter is he's going to hire his kid as the coach in waiting, and I'm sure he'll call Matt Patricia and Josh McDaniels and Joe Judge and those guys. Hey, how would you like to get the band back together here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina? So the Suns line up and all that, but for Bill Belichick, he's going to get a chance to redefine himself, although I don't know how long he's going to be there. But North Carolina, from what we understand, has lined up the oligarchs. They are lining up the people with the deep pockets there, and they will pay the NIL money to get the players. Because it's pay to play in college football. You pay players, and as we have seen, as the old guard that love their history, like Alabama or Ohio State or Notre Dame or SC. You'll go to a place like North Carolina if the check's big enough, and that's the way this thing's going to operate. Like top line players. Now, do we think that Bill Belichick is going to go out and hit the recruiting trail? He'll have other people do most of the work, and it'd be like a Nick Saban model, where, as we understand, like Nick Saban the last few years at Alabama when he was there, he was the closer. Like he'd fly in on the helicopter at the very end to get the deal done. But it was other people that did the dirty work. And Belichick's never going to be Mr. Sunshine. That's not going to happen. And he's not going to charm anyone. Although, as we have said for some time, he does have something. Belichick is in his 70s. His girlfriend is in her 20s. He's 24. So clearly he's got some game somehow. But he'll get recruits because they'll buy them at North Carolina, and we'll see him on the sidelines wearing a disheveled North Carolina powder blue hoodie, and he'll be roaming around, grumbling and spitting and all that. All right, so the last word on this Belichick story. Does this move to the Atlantic Coast Conference by Bill Belichick close the door to his NFL coaching return? A 5-year deal pending approval by the Board of Trustees. That'll come down later on Thursday. But does this close the door to Bill Belichick going back to the NFL? And I'm going to go no. It obviously moves closer to that. It's like the doomsday clock. It moves closer. Tick, 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 tick. A little bit closer. And it's kind of clear to us, I don't know about you, that Belichick felt left off the NFL radar. That even though he was doing all these TV shows and radio shows or podcasts or whatever, Belichick tossed this possibility out. He leaked this through his useful idiots of the media as a vehicle to get an NFL team interested. And he felt unwanted by the NFL and treated like Quasimodo, the hunchback of Chapel Hill, Bill Belichick. And so he leaked in the North Carolina, or somebody around him leaked that, thinking that the fish would bite, that some NFL aristocrat owner would come out and say, that's who I want. I want Bill Belichick to be my coach, and they didn't take the bait. Nobody took the bait. And so here we are. And so for now, Bill Belichick goes to the Tar Heels. Now, the ultimate chess move, not checkers, chess, would be Bill Belichick in mid-January saying, I've had a change in plans. I've decided I don't want to coach at North Carolina. I'm going to let my son coach. I'm going to take the head coaching job for the Giants. Because just because he took this job does not mean that there's not a whole bunch of loopholes. He can get out of the contract, and depends how it's all written. But Bill Belichick, 6-time champion with the Patriots, can say, hey, a month or 2 months from now, most likely a month because of the way the coaching hiring process works in the NFL. So, something opened up, and I decided I wanted to do that instead. And it's not you, it's me, and that whole thing.